Tonight, a seismic shift in international relations.
The biggest happiness to the biggest worries.
What happens next after a major U.S. military move in South America? Plus, the local no-show at a workers' rally.
They're feeling fear of reprisal from the employer, from the government.
Why employees stayed inside instead of protesting a back-to-office mandate. And safety requirements.
We've certainly had calls where entire families have gone to the hospital sick.
The new rules for carbon monoxide detectors and the push to get them in every home.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the latest on the U.S. military operation capturing the leader of a sovereign foreign nation. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro was arraigned in a New York courtroom today on charges including narco-terrorism. With more on those proceedings and the global reaction, here's Joy Malvin.
Dramatic images show Nicolas Maduro, who days ago was Venezuela's president, handcuffed and escorted by police officers. He and his wife Celia Flores charged in the U.S. with narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation, and weapons offenses. Maduro defiantly told the judge in Spanish, "I was captured at my home in Caracas, Venezuela. I am innocent. I am not guilty. I am still the president of my country." Maduro's lawyer attacked the U.S. military raid, the abduction and arrest, as many question, was this even legal? Demonstrators lining the courthouse. Some celebrated President Trump for bringing down a brutal dictator. Others pleaded no more war. At the UN Security Council, several nations condemned the Trump administration's military raid, calling it a breach of international law.
I remain deeply concerned that rules of international law have not been respected. The Charter enshrines the prohibition of the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state.
Still, President Trump's not backing down.
We're going to run it, fix it. We'll have elections at the right time.
Last night, insisting America will tap into Venezuela's rich oil supply, warning Maduro's acting president Delcy Rodriguez to cooperate or else.
If they don't behave, we will do a second strike.
And boldly issuing new threats against Mexico, Greenland, and Colombia.
Colombia is very sick, too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long.
The White House claims its actions are justified and will brief lawmakers tonight. As for Maduro, he's claiming diplomatic immunity, and this will not be a swift trial. He's back in court March 17th. Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
The reaction from Venezuelans living abroad has ranged widely after the whirlwind events of the last 3 days. Lauren Stallone spoke with a former Venezuelan resident who now calls London home.
Some Venezuelan Londoners are speaking out following the capture and removal of Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro.
My reaction has gone through the biggest happiness to the biggest worries.
Local Londoner Margarita Sanchez Favreau says she has lived in Canada for 22 years, but will always care about her home country.
I don't think that Trump is doing that for the right reasons. I think that he's moved by power, by interest, even personal interest, not only the United States interest.
While Favreau is skeptical of Trump's motives, she says she is glad Maduro is no longer in power.
Been more than 26 years with this dictatorship. We're desperate to finish this.
Local Venezuelans say the coming days will be difficult. Although they're hopeful positive change is on the way, they say the looming uncertainty makes it difficult to celebrate.
This morning I told my boss, if I start crying, please be patient with me because I am not in the best mental state. I am worried. I'm very worried.
Favreau says the invasion has caused panic among locals as their future remains unclear. But there is one thing she wants them to know.
Keep it strong and don't give up. Like, one day we have to get rid of this. One day we have to finish with this government.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
Now, leaders all over the world are watching this play out, wondering what it could mean for their countries as President Trump threatens the sovereignty of nations like Colombia, Mexico, Cuba, and Greenland. With more on the implications for Canada, here's Rachel Aiello.
Canadian oil stocks slid today as the energy market absorbed the potential implications of U.S. President Donald Trump tapping Venezuelan oil reserves.
What this says is Trump views oil as super important, which I think as Canadians we should recognize. We have a big oil industry and very big reserves, but it also says that we got to be very careful.
Ex-leader Nicolas Maduro's weekend capture and Trump musing of more military action is sparking international concern.
It's by no means all about the oil. It's about someone defying an American president. That's a pretty powerful example for those who are left.
Canada is no stranger to Trump's annexation threats, and Prime Minister Mark Carney's response so far has been careful. But the president's former national security advisor says he doesn't think this country is at risk.
I think any kind of move against Greenland or even more far-fetched against Canada would be the end of the NATO alliance. It would do incalculable damage, not just to the United States, but to the entire Western world.
Carney spoke to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado on Sunday, pledging Canada's support for a peaceful, negotiated, and Venezuelan-led transition process. Critics in this country say Trump's actions are exactly why Canada increasing its economic, military, and diplomatic independence is essential.
Internally, I think this boosts the obligation for Canada to get very serious, for Parliament to get very serious about diversifying our trade exports beyond the irrational administration of the United States.
Global Affairs is urging Canadians to avoid all travel to Venezuela, citing the unstable political situation. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Buses were canceled for many students across Midwestern Ontario today. A fast-moving storm dumped upwards of 15 centimeters on parts of Grey, Bruce, and Huron counties this morning. Buses were canceled, but schools were still open for any students who could make it there safely. For many of those students, it's their 8th snow day of the year so far.
Good evening, I'm meteorologist Gary Archibald for CTV News. We are looking at freezing rain threatening for tomorrow morning, and it looks like the special weather statement, which will see some changes through the overnight, blankets the north shores of Lake Erie, the 401 corridor from west to east, right through to Niagara Falls, the QEW. The potential for freezing rain coming from this big storm from the upper Midwest, and cold enough. Tomorrow morning, 0 degrees, -1 in the great city of London. That freezing rain could greet us right when we're headed out to go to work, drop the kids off for school. I'll break down what you need to know, see what kinds of threats continue through the midweek. It's coming up shortly. For now, I'll send it back to you at the desk. Carlyle?
Thanks very much, Gary. There's union pushback against the provincial government's return to office mandate. Leaders held a province-wide day of action today, but here in London, no employees showed up. As Rita Ismail reports, many say they're afraid to speak out for fear of losing their job.
Members of the Canadian Union of Public Employees staged a province-wide day of action today, protesting the Ontario government's decision to end hybrid work and bring employees back to the office. Workers were encouraged to spend their lunch breaks outside, calling for a return to flexible work arrangements. In London, nearly 150 Ontario Health at Home government employees who work at this location did not join the planned rally.
The rallies are happening across the province, but unfortunately, we're seeing where members are feeling reprisal. They're feeling fear of reprisal from the employer, from the government.
One Ontario Health at Home employee spoke to CTV off camera, saying the hybrid model works, both professionally and financially.
I find I'm more focused and more productive working from my home office, 100%, absolutely. I also save money, which is a huge thing right now because things cost so much more.
Starting today, Ontario government employees are expected to return to the office 5 days a week, despite objections from public sector unions.
Ontario Health at-home staff have been working hybrid schedules before the pandemic. There's no reason that the government is enforcing this, telling workers that they must be in office when this work has been being done for years prior to.
Premier Doug Ford made the decision back in August, saying collaboration and mentorship require people to be together. Ford doubled down today.
It's great to get everyone back to work like every other normal citizen. You know, you go out there and you show up 5 days a week. And there's arrangements. If they can't make it in, they're going to have to work within the bureaucracy, the OPS. They all have their managers. And we just look forward to getting everyone back.
But employees say there are a number of unaddressed issues.
There isn't enough room at that office for all employees to be in there. So they've had to make our cubicle space much smaller to work in, which is created a lot of angst amongst employees. Parking is a problem.
CUPE says it will continue to push back. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
The Premier says Crown Royal whiskey will come off all LCBO shelves next month once the Amherstburg bottling plant shuts down.
100%, but I'm not going to waste another bottle of Crown Royal dumping it.
The parent company said made the closure back in August, with officials saying they were laying off about 200 people, moving those jobs to the U.S. In response, Premier Ford had dumped a bottle of Crown Royal as a TV stunt, condemning the company's decision.
My good friend Wab Canoe, I love the guy, by the way. You know, they're doing a little production there in Quebec too, but it's all a bunch of BS. It's all going to Alabama. Mark my words. It's going to Alabama. They said they were going to invest in St. Clair, Ontario, $350 million. They pulled the carpet out from underneath us. All I'm saying is, as a business person, if you have your number one customer spending hundreds of millions of dollars, why would you try to hurt that customer?
Nearly 90% of the roughly 160 unionized workers voted in favor of a closure agreement with the parent company last month. The local union president says he supports the decision to take the whiskey off Ontario shelves, saying it should have happened sooner.
So the impact on the company would have happened right away, and they maybe would have thought twice about closing the site after they seen the loss of money. We were hoping that the other provinces would join us in this, and we didn't really see that support whatsoever. I know it's a Team Canada approach, but wouldn't it be a Team Canada approach if we all got together and said this is nonsense and you shouldn't be leaving Canada? But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I would have loved to see that.
Testimony resumed today from the mother of a 15-month-old boy who died after a home daycare visit. The operator has been charged with manslaughter, and with more from the London courthouse, here's Nick Paparella.
The defense recalled the mother of 15-month-old Nathaniel McClellan to resume with her testimony. It was the 9th day that Roseanne Vanderweel spent on the stand, testifying about the circumstances surrounding the death of her toddler, who died in October of 2015 after being at the home daycare of Megan Van Hoof in Strathroy. The mother broke down several times as she recalled picking up the lifeless body of her son and taking him to hospital, saying, "I wanted to be with him for every breath he was taking on this earth because he was dying." Questioned by the defense about meeting with doctors and police on her own, she said it wasn't until 9 months later that she learned more about her child's death. As a grieving parent, you flip-flop because you desperately want it to be an accident. She said doctors told her Nathaniel died from a non-accidental brain injury due to a lack of oxygen, a direct blow, fall, or seizure. She said, "I didn't know what to think. For 9 months, I always thought there's no way anyone would harm him." Again, she repeated, "I know that my child was fine when I dropped him off. The fatal blow had to have happened after that." Charged with manslaughter, the 46-year-old Van Hoof has pled not guilty. Earlier at the trial, and after days of legal wrangling, Justice Michael Carnegie dismissed an abuse of process application brought forward by the defense, claiming the Crown was putting up roadblocks and impeding its case. 5 more weeks have been added to the trial, which was originally slated for 4 weeks back in the fall. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
New rules are now in effect mandating carbon monoxide detectors on every floor of an Ontario home. With more on the changes and the rush to ensure compliance, here's Sean Irvin.
Chris Dietrich is shopping for new carbon monoxide detectors in St. Thomas. The Dutton resident awoke to a chirping noise Monday, alerting him it was time to replace his existing unit. Once he discovered most Ontario residences are now mandated to have them on all floors, he opted to exceed the requirements for the safety of his family.
There's 6 of us living in the house, so it would definitely be a disaster.
No matter what type of building you call home, carbon monoxide detectors must be on every floor. That includes areas where there might be a gas stove, a furnace, a fireplace, or even your garage. For now, fire departments plan to educate the public, but in time, fines could be laid against homeowners and landlords found not to be in compliance.
If your landlord won't, you can certainly give us a call. That's part of our job, is to make sure landlords comply and keep their residents safe.
The chief of the Chatham-Kent Fire Department reports 50 people on average die from carbon monoxide poisoning in Canada. That doesn't include close calls.
We've certainly had calls where entire families have gone to the hospital sick from CO, and they had no idea. It was a headache, it was not feeling well, and had they had the alarms, they would have known a lot sooner.
As carbon monoxide is odorless and colorless, officials contend detectors are the only way to protect yourself. The new law has retailers working to meet demand. At this store, some types ranging in price from $35 to $90 are already out of stock, but more are coming.
But we do have lots of other ones still in stock, and we've also, those ones that are sold out, we've increased our orders accordingly.
That's good news for those seeking to protect their loved ones.
They're not cheap, but they save lives. It's proven.
We always have guests, and we have 2 bedrooms upstairs, and that's where they stay, and I don't want anything to happen to anybody.
There are some programs to assist people with both the installation and cost of CO detectors. In St. Thomas, residents are encouraged to contact the fire department. Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Municipal officials in central Elgin are warning residents to stay away from geese in Port Stanley. They say 3 sick birds have been euthanized in the past month, receiving reports of birds looking lethargic and 1 dead bird testing positive for avian flu. Officials say the euthanized birds will be sent to the Canadian Wildlife Health Cooperative. Provincial police say there were fewer impaired driving charges handed out this year compared to last during their festive ride checks. They say more than 3,000 ride checks produced 269 impaired driving charges. There were fewer than 2,000 ride checks last year, which led to nearly 300 charges. Regionally, police say Essex County had the most charges laid, while Huron County had the fewest. School board officials in southern Huron County say there could soon be more local childcare options. They say a company has expressed interest in opening before and an after-school childcare space at Exeter Elementary and Blue Water Coast Elementary in Hensel. A previous childcare operator closed their programs back in September, citing a lack of early childhood educators, which prompted a parent-led petition demanding the school board start its own childcare service. Board officials say they hope these new spaces will be available before the end of the school year. Still ahead, the next era in Mustangs football. A successor announced, the program's first new coach in nearly 20 years. And a battle of the badges. London police and firefighters square off on the ice in an annual fundraiser.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. Restaurant owners in southwestern Ontario say the problem of no-shows is getting worse. In Quebec, they can charge fees for people who don't show up, but there's no such law in Ontario. Spencer Turcott reports.
I'm working on beef stock.
Whether it's filling customers' bellies with classic French cuisine,
This is my wine cellar.
or quenching their thirst with the top European wines, Chez Elixir in Kitchener's Belmont Village offers a fine dining experience. But its owner and head chef Farouz Jafari is experiencing something he's not so fine with.
I believe people reserve in 2-3 different places, and then at the end they choose to go to one of them.
Reservation no-shows are nothing new for the restaurant biz, but the holidays tend to reignite those frustrations.
Those two, they didn't show, we just put cancel, and this 9 cancel. This 12, he said, oh, my girlfriend has reserved elsewhere.
In 2023, Jafari began asking customers for deposits to reserve a table. Then he ran into a new problem. People stopped booking altogether.
I removed that from our website. We don't want deposit because some people didn't like it. And some people said, oh, I'm not going to give you my credit card number.
So he removed that feature and went back to the old ways. But so did restaurant guests. Leading up to Christmas, Jafari says out of 49 reservations, he had 25 cancellations.
It didn't give me a chance to prepare properly. Yes, it affected my service. I couldn't say anything. Customer is always right.
It's a problem that has plagued the restaurant industry across the country. Earlier this year, Quebec allowed restaurants to start charging $10 per person in an attempt to help with no-shows. Ahead of the holidays, CTV News checked in to see whether it has helped.
What we have seen an increase in is people calling to cancel the reservation, which is really what restaurants want.
Although reviews are mixed.
If someone reserves for 30 people, but only 3 people show up, well, you can't apply it. You can't charge them the 27 people that didn't show up, because that's the way that the law is written.
Back at Chez Elixir in Kitchener, the message from Chef Jafari to his customers is clear.
I love all of them, and even if they don't show, but, please let me know that you are not showing up.
So he can ensure his seats are just as full as his customers' bellies. Spencer Turcotte, CTV News, Kitchener.
The Western Mustangs have announced their next football coach, hiring 3-time U Sports Coach of the Year and former Western quarterback Michael Faulds away from rivals Laurier.
Welcome home. Yeah, no, it is a homecoming, and I'm mixed with emotions. Obviously, very proud and happy with the 13 years I had at Laurier and feel for those coaches and players, but super excited to be back at Western, a place I obviously played for 5 years, love my time here, so it truly is a homecoming.
What's the main decision that brought you home?
I think it is just overall the family support, right? My wife Stacy and I met here in London at Western. Her family's here, and then there's always that excitement of coming home to where you played. As much as I love my time over there at Laurier, there's something special that drew me here, and obviously being able to take over for a legend like Coach Marshall is special.
And Greg will stay on for a little bit to help you through the transition?
Yeah, that's what's nice about it, is it's a smooth transition. Coach Marshall, although many people obviously tie me to Western, I was never a coach here. So there's a lot for me to learn. I was on the playing side of things here, so the ins and outs of the operation and how the programs run and all of these things, obviously I'm going to put my stamp on it, but it'll be great having Coach Marshall here to make all these introductions in the first weeks and months.
Longtime OHL Commissioner David Branch has died. Branch worked with the Ontario Hockey League for decades, starting in 1979 until his retirement in 2024. His successor, current Commissioner Brian Crawford, issued a statement saying Branch's contributions will impact the game for generations. David Branch was 77. The World Juniors wrap up tonight with Canada missing out on the gold medal game for a 3rd straight year. They're playing for bronze right now against Finland after a semifinal loss last night.
Now bring it back out as Hage. Hage works in. With O'Reilly through the cross. O'Reilly backhand shot scores.
That's London Knights captain Sam O'Reilly opening the scoring early in the first period for Canada. The bronze medal game is now going into the 3rd period, and Canada have a 5-3 lead. The 2nd annual Heroes on Ice hockey game puts local emergency services up against each other this past weekend, raising money for the Children's Health Foundation.
First responders are just giving back to the kids that they help, right? So if they have somebody who's in an emergency situation, They know where the money goes. They know where the kids go. They know that they have to come to the Children's Hospital. So they're just giving back. Events like this mean new equipment, new programs, and many new things at the Children's Hospital that we can't have without donors like this.
This year is definitely building on last year's momentum, and hopefully next year we can keep snowballing it and make it bigger, get more people out for the public, maybe get it out a little earlier so everyone knows about the game, and that it's accessible to everyone. You can get tickets the day of, and hopefully our donations and funds keep coming in and get bigger every year.
Meteorologist Gary Archibald is with me tonight. And Gary, last we heard from you in the newscast, alluding to the possibility of some messy weather for the morning commute tomorrow.
Yes, you're right about that. Good evening. I think the worst case scenario, Carlyle, is that the freezing rain, that mixture of freezing rain, ice pellets, rain itself, wet flakes, ice pellets, and icy like precipitation, the worst combination, obviously, but I think we're going to see a bit of everything in the next 24 hours. 2 degrees today. We were 4 degrees above seasonal. It was, relatively speaking, a mild day across much of southwestern Ontario. Holding at 1 degree, we'll see increasing cloudiness as I speak. The coldest air in our provinces just to the north of, say, Mount Forest, Shelburne, Ontario, as that will have huge implications as we head towards 6, 7, 8, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Quite a bit of snow in southeastern Ontario through Cornwall and Gananoque, right? But we're concerned here with what's taking place, the clouds and some of the rain showers over the state of Minnesota, Iowa, headed into Wisconsin, eventually Michigan and southern Ontario. Will all take place in the next, say, 12 to 16 hours. It starts off as rain, freezing rain, drizzle, ice pellets, grapple, wet flakes, and then steadier flakes as it winds right through the heart of southern Ontario. Tomorrow morning's commute in Windsor, for example, at 6 a.m. is not great. At 8 a.m., not great in London, and then continues to progress further east. So it's a rain situation, a freezing rain situation, and then steadier rains through the afternoon as temperatures are well above the freeze mark, could see 2-3 degrees Celsius, and then it gets cold again through the overnight for Wednesday morning, which means any of that moisture is going to freeze that hasn't, which is still on the surface. By the way, the same system is going to put down some snow. Accumulations in areas that have been hammered by snow, Grey Bruce towards Georgian Bay, and anywhere I'd say north of London, Kitchener is probably in the snow belt. I don't think London itself will see a lot of snow. It's going to be a rain, freezing rain, and then steady rain situation. Here's the breakdown for tonight I put together. Mostly cloudy between now and midnight. Temperatures dropping down to about -1 by 8 p.m., -3 by 10, -4, feeling like about -6, -7 at midnight. The wind is calm now and through to tomorrow early in the morning. 7-day forecast calling for that freezing rain mixture, changing over to rain for the afternoon, evening, and then a freeze through the overnight to get flurries and snow showers and rain showers combination for Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday will still be above the freezing mark for daytime highs, especially Thursday and Friday, well above. And then colder with flurries next week, Sunday into Monday. The Midwest, it looks like the snow is the story late Tuesday in particular into early Wednesday morning, but there's a chance of some freezing rain and ice pellets Tuesday morning, I'd say between 9 and 11. And then we warm up, stay warm, relatively speaking, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, temperatures above seasonal, well above freezing for daytime highs before things settle down by Saturday, Sunday, Monday of next week. Carlyle?
Thanks very much, Gary. When we come back, the cost of tourism in Lambton Shores, why local officials are adding a new fee for short-term rentals.
Coming up on the show tomorrow morning at 7:10 in Pricetown, your chance to win your way into the Toronto International Boat Show and find out why analog bags are trending already in 2026.
Officials in Lambton Shores are introducing a new accommodation tax, an added fee for anyone booking a hotel room or a short-term rental. With more on the plans for that money and the reaction from local tourism leaders, here's Brian Bicknell.
In the winter months, this beachside town quiets down until the return of sunny days. Chelsea Ford, who owns Grand Bend's Kiwi Motel, is hoping a new tax doesn't turn away sun seekers and other would-be guests.
The extra cost is going to land on the guest, and I don't think that actually helps tourism at all.
Lambton Shores has implemented a new municipal accommodation tax on short-term rentals. The 4% levy applies to hotels and motels, Airbnbs, bed and breakfasts, and any stays under 30 days. Lambton Shores Mayor Doug Cook says it's expected to generate between $400,000 and $500,000 per year. Half will go to the municipality, half will go to a new volunteer board to set up programming for off-season events.
We can offer more for the shoulder season, September to April. Perhaps we could find concert areas that would be coming to this area. There could be wine tours. There's all kinds of different events that are we could promote in the area.
Now in neighboring Sarnia and Point Edward, the accommodation tax has been in place for about 5 years now. It brings in roughly $300,000 per year in revenue. That money split evenly between Tourism Sarnia Lambton and the municipalities. Tourism Executive Director Mark Perrin says the extra revenue goes into promotion or projects that attract visitors.
No one likes the word tax, me included, obviously, but at the end of the day, for us, it's more about that competitive, being fair. If someone has it in, you kind of need it in your area as well.
Meantime, motel owner Chelsea Ford says she'd like to know exactly where the money will be spent before passing along a new expense to customers.
I'd love to see the actual transparency on that and where it actually is being used, but I'm doubtful that we'll actually see that.
In Grand Bend, Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Samsung has unveiled a new massive TV ahead of the annual Consumers Electronics Show in Las Vegas. This is a 130-inch micro RGB television with artificial intelligence features. Officials with the South Korean tech company say the TV can make suggestions based on what it already knows about you. Canada's main stock index rose to new highs today, helped by gains in the basic materials sector. The TSX is up more than 300 points. In New York, the Dow spiked almost 600. The Nasdaq gained 160. The Canadian dollar was off almost 1/5 of a cent. On commodities, gold surged more than $120 an ounce. Oil jumped $1 a barrel. When we come back, marking a somber anniversary, the local emergency response community remembering a fallen St. Thomas firefighter. Welcome back. Local firefighters are remembering a fallen teammate 25 years after the death of Dennis Redmond, who was killed in the line of duty. Brent Lale has more on Redmond's legacy in St. Thomas.
I remember that day like it was yesterday.
January 5th, 2001, in a blinding snowstorm, St. Thomas firefighters rushed inside 200 Chestnut Street, attempting to rescue senior citizens and people with disabilities.
The ability to put ladders up in the snow and bring people off balconies on ladders in the middle of the night. It's a challenge, but you know what? It's what we do.
Chief Dave Gregory was called in the night that the 102-unit apartment complex caught fire. With heavy winds, it took the life of 20-year fire captain Dennis Redmond and elderly tenant Kay Patrick, but crews saved dozens of residents.
It was 3 firemen it took to get me over the balcony and down the ladder.
4 days later, first responders from across North America came to St. Thomas to pay their respects.
The funeral procession was the coldest day I can ever remember, and walking from Williams Funeral Home to Memorial Arena with a sea of firefighters, EMS, and police behind us, and then crowds of people on the street kind of, recognizing and thanking us for what we do every day.
We're at the Dennis Redmond Memorial Station. It opened in 2006. We have a rock just over here dedicated to Dennis.
Each year on this date, St. Thomas Fire remembers the man they lost when he fell from the 3rd floor.
It's a very tough day for the department and the association, and it's important that we always remember the sacrifices made that day.
Since his death and an inquest, there have been some changes to the way departments respond and fight fires. Later this month, they plan to host a celebration.
We have some challenge coins that we had produced. We're going to have members of our department, their families, retirees that were there, and have a day here that remembers Captain Dennis Redmond.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Paris right now, taking part in peace talks for Ukraine. Leaders from several countries allied with Ukraine are involved, called the Coalition of the Willing. These talks were announced before the U.S. military operation played out in Venezuela. A statement from the Prime Minister says Canadian authorities want to boost Ukraine's defense capabilities and support the nation's long-term recovery. Meanwhile, in Kyiv, Ukrainian authorities say one person was killed and 3 others injured in a Russian strike on a medical facility. With more on what's expected to come out of these meetings in France, here's Mike Couture.
Well, the global geopolitical situation has changed significantly in the last 48 hours. Countries making up the Coalition of the Willing continue to be focused on the next steps towards peace in Ukraine. Now, Prime Minister Mark Carney will be joined by about 24 other world leaders at this meeting in Paris that is being chaired by French President Emmanuel Macron. Last week, Macron said this meeting is to make concrete commitments to protect Ukraine and ensure a lasting peace on the European continent. The Prime Minister's office wouldn't say what Canada is bringing to the table. However, a senior official did point to the $2.5 billion commitment made by Canada to Ukraine last week when President Zelensky did meet with Carney in Halifax last week, and also pointed to the millions of dollars in drones that Canada has announced in December. Now, since the beginning of this war, Canada has provided nearly $22 billion to Ukraine. The meeting comes about a week after Zelensky did meet with U.S. President Donald Trump in Florida. That meeting was heralded as a success. However, in address to his own country, Zelensky said that a peace deal is only 90% of the way there, saying that territorial concessions and territorial boundaries still remain one of the sticking points, as well as security guarantees. That is something that will be discussed at this meeting. Now, in the lead up to this meeting that we will be having on Tuesday, Zelensky has met with national security and defense advisors from all of the countries of the Coalition of the Willing, including from Canada. And the leaders' meeting is expected to build on that work. Earlier today, Zelensky named former Liberal cabinet minister and current Liberal MP Chrystia Freeland as an advisor on economic development. She is not expected to be on this trip to Paris. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
And late this afternoon, that former Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland announced she'll resign from Parliament following her appointment as Special Representative for the reconstruction of Ukraine. Freeland has Ukrainian ancestry herself and has been a vocal supporter during the war with Russia. A new survey suggests the federal Liberals and Conservatives are about even when it comes to support at the start of the new year. The Liaison Strategies poll shows the gap has closed between the two parties. The Liberals are at 38% support among decided voters, the Conservatives at 37%. Meanwhile, 55% of respondents said they approve of the job Prime Minister Mark Carney is doing. The poll has a margin of error plus or minus 3 percentage points, meaning it's considered a statistical tie.
Let's take a look at our CTV News weather snapshot. It's a beauty. Look at that gorgeous cardinal. Male cardinals, a beautiful red hue in the midst of some freezing precipitation on those branches. That's indicative of what we could see in the next 12 to 16 hours tomorrow morning. Early and through the midday, possibly, with a wintry mix. Environment Canada has a special weather statement in place. Windsor, Essex towards Chatham, Kent, London, Kitchener, Waterloo, and northward bound snow. Do take care, as ice accretions of 1 to 2 millimeters could be problematic.
Canadian border agents are reporting more than 24 people who were caught trying to illegally cross into Canada over the holidays, deporting some of them back to the U.S. As Sweet Arasi reports, recent changes to American immigration policies are being blamed for pushing more people north.
It was a busy holiday period at the border near Hemmingford. Officials say 8 migrants crossed illegally into Canada on Friday. An additional 19 were caught on Christmas night near Havelock. Franz André is from the Action Committee for People Without Status.
And people are going to take chances. It's not going to stop.
And André believes more migrants crossed without being caught. He points to changes in U.S. immigration policies, most notably the end of temporary protected status for Haitians on February 3rd. The decision affects more than 350,000 Haitians living in the States.
Donald Trump campaigned last year. One of his promises was to deport 11 million people. And unfortunately, he is executing his promises.
Of the 19 migrants who entered Canada from the U.S. on Christmas, all were of Haitian origin, ranging in age from 1 to 60 years old. According to the Canada Border Services Agency, the migrants requested asylum, but some were sent back to the U.S. after their claims were deemed inadmissible under the Safe Third Country Agreement. The agreement allows Canada to turn away asylum seekers who arrive through official U.S. border crossings, requiring them to make their refugee claim in the first country they arrive in. André says a better system needs to be put in place.
It is very clear that the United States is no longer a safe country for hundreds of thousands of people.
Several of the migrants did suffer injuries such as frostbites, and the RCMP is warning that border crossings are particularly dangerous during the winter. But André says for migrants, turning back is not an option.
They rather die in the States or Canada in those frigid, cold weather that we're going through than going back to the country where their life is at stake.
If nothing changes, he says crossings like these will continue. Sweet Arasi, CTV News.
Border authorities are reporting a drug bust at London's international airport. According to CBSA officials, more than 200 pills and nearly 120 grams of pharmaceutical narcotics were seized from a Canadian resident returning on an international flight back in December. London police say they arrested a man after a weapons call to an East London motel this weekend. Multiple officers responded to the Residency Inn just after 7 a.m. Saturday. They say a man had reportedly threatened another person with a weapon. Officers had closed off Dundas Street while the emergency response team was called in, and say the suspect was arrested without incident.
He was inside his unit when our emergency response unit arrived on scene. He cooperatively gave himself up. There were no injuries as a result of the incident. The male's in custody right now with us. The investigation's ongoing. He'll be facing weapons-related charges with us.
A bluefin tuna reeled in a record $4.4 million at a recent auction in Tokyo. The fish weighed in at 545 pounds. It was caught off the northern Japanese coast and, based on the winning bid, cost roughly $8,000 a pound. Bluefin tuna are recovering thanks to conservation efforts.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Finally tonight, a Montreal bartender earning international acclaim. She's been dubbed the ultimate bartending champion, defeating competitors from North, South, and Central America. With more, here's Christine Long.
So it's like a nice little boozy wake-up.
Bartender Marie-Louise Roy-Bilodeau likes making custom cocktails, like this riff on a Negroni she nicknames a Monday morning.
I just like making something that my guests will enjoy.
She's been bartending 4 years and was encouraged by a boss to compete professionally. So she gave it a shot.
This year, I applied to do the Ultimate Bartender Championship. I won the Canadian leg, and that brought me all the way to Colombia for the final for North, South, and Central America. And I won that one.
The only woman in the finals, Roy-Bilodeau, who is 27, says that the all-day competition included mixology, serving, and speed.
Their premise was skills pay the bills. So they created a bunch of challenges to test your day-to-day skills.
Day-to-day skills she's been perfecting at La Cantina Concha.
You had 5 drinks to make and a shot to pour as fast as you could.
Now named the ultimate bartender champion, Roy-Bilodeau earned a retro varsity jacket, a big ring, and bragging rights that her boss is enjoying.
My boss has been like telling people sometimes, like we'll get customers and she'll be like, "Do you know that she's the best in the world?" I'm like, "Whoa, let's chill."
She jokes her ultimate bartender champion title only includes North, South, and Central America. A real world championship just might be in her mix for 2026. Christine Long, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.